You've just finished the simple bubble recipe. We're going to go over it one more time, just to pick up on some of the concepts we went over. Let's start with line 1. It says to create a program window titled Bubbles. Now create is always a keyword. We're going to make something new. Now that we got the new down, our noun is program window. Sounds good. And our title is Bubbles. Now notice, if you look over the recipe, it says we need to use this on lines 2.4, 9, whatever, not just between the brackets on 9 and 20. So we need to hold on to program window using Control 1 and make it a field. The difference between a field and a variable is a field runs throughout the entire recipe. A variable only lives between its specific mustaches. Let's try this out. There you have it, our program window named Bubbles. We can delete line 1. Alright, line 2 has 5 parts, so we need to go over each one individually, but we can't delete the lines until they all work. 2.1 says to create a circle with the radius and the next color from the color wheel. We just did this, so we know how to do it from before. Make something new, find out the noun, and fill in what we know. We don't know the radius or the color, so let's fake them as 9 and red. Great, we've got a circle. But just like the program window, we're going to have to hold on to it. Let's click on circle and press Control 1. The difference between circle and program window is that circle only needs to live between the mustaches on 25 and 35. So let's make it a variable. Alright, let's try it out. Okay, nothing happened. That's because we've told the computer to make a circle, but it's in a method called onLeftMouseClick, which hasn't been used, and we haven't told it what to do yet. Alright, line 2.2 says to have Simple Bubble listen for when the left mouse button is clicked in your program window. We're always going to start off with the noun, that's program window, and separate our words with dots. Now what we're doing here is adding something called an event listener. You can think of events as like the news. You're not telling anything to do anything, it's just what's going on. Event listeners take a look at the news, sometimes they report the news, sometimes they do stuff around the news, but they are all related to what's going on, not something you said to do. Now the event we're looking for is when the left mouse is clicked. So we need to start off with the noun, which is mouse. And do we see something that'll make it left click? Looks right. And the listener will take into account whether the mouse on the left side is being clicked. Now in the parentheses, we want to say this. That tells the listener to disregard any past news, whether the mouse was clicked, or future news, whether the mouse will be clicked, and only focus on what's going on right now, this click. Again, we click, nothing happens. We haven't related the two from the circle and the this yet. We're going to go over this one more time because events are a really important concept. Events are not something you told the computer to do. It's just what is going on in the environment. Event listeners take into account what is going on in the environment and then do something about it. Alright, let's move on to line 2.3. It says to add purple to the color wheel. We know how to do this from before, so let's just do it really fast. We add a color wheel, separate our words with dots, add a color, pick the purple group, etc. Now, does this work? No, again, we haven't related them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to relate all these so we can finally see our circles. Line 2.4 says to add the circle to your program window. Again, we're going to start off with the noun, which is circle. And we're going to add it to the program window. Let's try this out. Oh, there you have it, our red circle in the very corner where we can't see it. Now that we know that this works, we can get rid of line 2.4. Also, we can change that colors.reds.reds are fake to the intended code, colorwheel.getNextColor. We got purple circles. We can't delete line 2.1 yet because we still have the 9 faked, but we're going to fix that in 2.5. We can delete 2.3 though because we got the purple down. And 2.2 because we got our circle. 2.5 says to set the radius for the circle to a random number between 10 and 50. To do that, we're first going to get our random number. Let's use number utils and tell it to get a random number, or in this case, integer. Our minimum is 10, and our maximum is 50. Now, that just tells us to get a random number. It doesn't say how we're using it yet. Let's highlight this whole thing and extract it as a variable. Let's call it radius. Great, now we can replace that fake of 9 in 2.1 with the intended code radius. Let's run that. Random numbers. Now we can get rid of both 2.5 and 2.1. We got everything taken care of. Alright, that corner circle thing is getting a bit annoying. We can't actually see the whole circle. So let's change that. Line 3 says to move the center of the bubble to the current position of the mouse on the window. What we're going to do is first take the noun, circle, and we're going to set its center to X and Y. Let's try that out. Everywhere we click, circle. Much easier to see. We can get rid of line 3. Lines 4, 5, and 6 are adding colors to the color wheel. Since we know how to do this, I can just copy and paste. Let's try it out. Great, we got different colored circles. We can delete all of the lines involving color. Now line 7 says to extract those colors as a method. We know how to do this from before. Let's highlight everything. Right-click and extract method. Let's call it prepare color palette. When we run this, it should do the same thing. Looks good. We can delete all of the line 7s. Moving on to line 8. Same thing with create bubble. Should do the same thing. Great. We can get rid of all the line 8s. Only one step left. We just gotta remove all the previous bubbles from our program window. Again, we're going to use the noun, program window, and tell it to remove the paintables, because these circles that we painted are, paintable. Let's try it out. Great job, we can get rid of line 9. Thanks for watching the Simple Bubble Recap. If you have any more questions or want to learn how you can volunteer, go to teachingkidsprogramming.org.